The following day, Miriam worked at the government laboratory and morgue as usual. She had done so since her return from studying in Holland, now accredited as a fully qualified forensic pathologist, an ambition she had held since the age of 11 or 12. While in Holland, she had missed England, and above all, she had missed her father, and Daniel. The time had finally come when she'd admitted to herself that she was in love with Daniel, but still had dared not consider that he might feel the same about her. Miriam was painfully aware of the 15-year age difference between them. It would have been nothing if he had been the elder. Such matches were quite common and thoroughly approved of. But she was the elder, and it hurt her more than she cared to admit. It created a deep sense of futility and pain, knowing that all that was most precious to her, this source of her real happiness, could so easily slip away. Not that she looked her age. She was in her early 40s, but she was often mistaken for being a decade younger. She was a striking woman in her own way. For better or worse, her hair was the same flaming auburn as Marcus's had been in his youth, but of course now his was dazzlingly white. The kindest thing she could have said about her own face was that it was individual, that it showed her intelligence and registered every emotion, whether she wished it to or not. Daniel had more sense than to tell her she was beautiful, for she simply would not have believed him, although she had always felt she had lovely eyes. Before leaving for Holland, she had worked under Dr. Evelyn Hall, whose guidance had not only added to her sense of confidence, but had actually enabled her to go to Holland to study further. It was Dr. Hall, affectionately referred to as Dr. Eve, who had insisted she pursue her studies in the one country in Europe that would grant forensics degrees to women. In Holland and in Britain, Dr. Eve was highly respected. Miriam knew that it had taken time for her to prove herself, but the scientific community had come to consider her a leader in her field. With her cropped hair, husky voice, and rather shapeless body, she struck Miriam as the epitome of the eccentric scientist. Dr. Eve was forthright, candid to a fault, and brilliant. That the woman not only liked Miriam, but also believed passionately in her ability was of no importance to the British authorities. But to Miriam, it was the highest possible accolade. Since her marriage to Daniel 3 months ago, Miriam did not often work the long hours she had before. In those days, she had had no particular reason to hurry home to the house she shared with her father. Now it was different. Daniel often worked long hours too, so their evenings at home, time to talk or to just sit together and watch the waning light in the small garden, hearing the whispering of the leaves in the wind, were infinitely precious. This evening, Miriam wanted to be home early to hear from Daniel about the new barrister, Gideon Hunter. They had never met him, as far as Daniel could remember, but he knew his reputation. Everyone did.